So guys, I'm going to do a story time about the moment and the time that I met a guy at my last homeless shelter that I was staying in. He was someone that I knew from high school, right? Haven't seen him in years, but he ended up at the homeless shelter. And he noticed me right away. He was like, he said my name. I'm just going to say I'm just going to say my YouTube name, which is Homeless. He was like, "Homeless?" I was like, he was like, he said his name. He said, "It's M." I'm just going to say M. It's Mr. M. So I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" You know, and I said, "Wow, under these circumstances," I said, "How are you?" He was like, "I'm doing okay. Unfortunately, we're here." Like he said, unfortunately, I'm here. So I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, nice to see you." And I said, my life kind of derailed a little bit. We're in a shelter, so we're like around other people, so we're not going to talk too much. So we just kind of said what we said, and I kept going, and he kept going. So I'm like, okay, he's in here, and I know I went to high school with him. So, of course, I go up to the shelter where I was at the other homeless shelter I was at. I went upstairs and went on Facebook, and I was like investigating, his Facebook and seeing what he was up to. And yeah, so that's how it kind of started. He noticed me, and he seemed like a really, really nice guy. He was nice in high school. I never heard anything terribly bad about him or anything like that. So I thought that he would be someone at the shelter that I could, become friends with. A guy's there. There's nothing wrong with talking to people and communicating with them and seeing what's going on in their life. Even though he's at a shelter, I never looked at him like, "Don't talk to me. You're here." I'm not that type of woman. And plus I knew him, right? So I felt a little bit more comfortable, having conversations with this guy because I knew him from high school. I knew that he was like, he had a good reputation in school. He didn't have no reputation of like hurting women or beating women up or anything like that. So we had to go to this appointment, right? And come to find out, this place that I had to go to, he went there as well. It's something else going on in my life that I didn't tell y'all about. So we had to go to this particular meeting, right? So at this meeting that I have to go to, like only go once a week or whatever. So I go there, and guess who pops up? He pops up there. He was like, "Oh my God, you're here too?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm here too." So I was like, wow. So I see him at this place that I have to attend once a week. So at this place that I have to attend once a week, I found out that he has to go there, but he only goes there 3 days a week. So he was like, "Well, how long do you have to go here?" I said, "Well, I have to go here for probably a couple of weeks or so, and I only have to attend this meeting like once a week." So he was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I have to attend this meeting. I have to come here 3 days a week or whatever." So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I said, "I'll see you while we're here." So while we've been at these meetings, I've been going to this meeting place for a couple of weeks now. And we just been kind of just sitting together and talking and stuff like that. So when I got kicked out of the shelter, I knew I would see him again at this meeting. So when I went back to the meeting, I'm like, I said, "Yo, they kicked me out of the shelter." I said, "I'm staying in my car now." And he was like, "Yo, they kicked me out too." So we just started talking, on that. I said, "Wow, we going through a lot of similar things. Wow, isn't that crazy?" You know what I mean? But I kind of knew that he liked me, or he was attracted to me or whatever, by the way he was treating me, because he was kind of treating me like I was his girlfriend or something. He was really nice, and he would pull out chairs for me and everything. So I was like, "Oh, he's feeling me. Okay." And was I against dating while homeless as a woman? Dating someone while homeless as a woman? It wasn't in the cards for me to date anyone or even try to have a relationship with a man that was at a shelter. But I felt like I knew him, like from high school and everything, because we had like, in high school he was always nice and respectable and stuff like that. I never seen him like in a bad light, never heard anything bad about him harming women or anything. So I was like, okay, he might be a nice guy, but looking at him, I wasn't really physically attracted to him. Like, I wasn't attracted to him per se, but I did think that he was a nice guy. You know what I mean? But he wasn't attractive to me in my eye. And we all have preferences and everything. And I'm not a woman that like, "Oh my God, he got to be Denzel Washington, super attractive, super good looking, super 6 feet tall," and all that stuff. It had nothing to do with his height. I just wasn't attracted to a lot of things that was going on in his life at the time. And I'm going to continue to tell y'all like what the things were that I wasn't attracted to. it's a story time, so I'm going to tell y'all, but I really wasn't attracted to him at all in that way. Like looking at him and knowing the things that was going on in his life, the fact that he's homeless and the fact that he wanted to date me and he liked me. I could tell. You could kind of tell when someone likes you, right? I knew that he liked me. And I just thought he was a nice person and a good guy. So I was being really, really nice to him because he was a nice person. He was respectable and stuff like that. But I was kind of like, okay. And as time went on, I started to see like a lot of, because I started talking to him. Like, you know, I gave him my number. We exchanged numbers. And when we exchanged numbers, he didn't have a phone. So I'm like, okay, you don't have a cell phone. Most people can go get like a government phone. But I think he said something about he didn't have an ID. So it was just a lot of things going on that was like a red flag for me that I didn't like as a woman. Like I'm going to tell you guys right now, I wasn't really attracted to him, but when he cleans himself up, he looks pretty attractive. He looks like a nice guy, but a lot of things just didn't pique my attraction because he didn't have himself together. You know, he didn't have a car. He didn't have a job. And I didn't like that. So I was like, well, if you want to date a woman, you got to have something together. Because women, we want to go on dates. We want to be called. We want to be texted. We want to be communicated with. If you're showing interest, like he's showing interest, but I really don't know him on that side of a relationship. Like, why is he showing interest in me? Is she showing interest in me because I have a car and he doesn't? Or, I mean, he hasn't asked me for anything. He hasn't asked me to pick him up, take him nowhere, anything like that. But the fact that he just doesn't have himself together kind of makes me like, now if he had himself together, I could probably deal with him. Even though I wasn't really feasibly attracted to him. You can make it work with someone that maybe don't look so great to your eyeballs. But if he had it together, I might could bend a little. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the most attractive to some men. Some men look at me and find me unattractive. So please don't come in my comments and say, well, you think that you're like a 10 or something like that. I don't care what I am. I know what I am to me. To me, I'm a 10. But I wasn't really attracted to him. But a woman could be attracted to a man that has something. You know what I'm saying? That has maybe a car or has a job. I'm not attracted to anyone that say that they like me. But if you're dating someone or you want to get to know somebody, that comes with dating that person, courting them. So I'm just saying. So he would call me every day. He still calls me every day. And sometimes it gets a little annoying because I'm like, well, you know, you don't have a job. You don't have a car. You don't have anything for us to date. So, but we did hang out. Like one day I met him. He was like, meet me here. So we met at the mall. So we went and walked in the mall the other day. And we were talking and hanging out. And nothing wrong with that. I didn't mind having somebody to talk and hang out with. But when we were at the mall, we went to this like old CD store. It's like a CD store where they have like old CDs and old music and DVD form and stuff like that. So it was kind of like a store for people back in the day, like people coming up in the 70s and 80s and 90s. It was one of those stores. So we had a good time in there. It was nice. We were talking about music and stuff like that. And we sat down and talked. It was nice communication and everything. But just the fact that he doesn't have his life together, I just don't think that I could be with him. But he was like saying that, you know, he wants to be in a relationship with me. He was like saying that, oh, I want us to start a relationship. And I'm just kind of like, start a relationship. Like, you don't have yourself together to even start a relationship. Like, I don't have myself together as far as being stable and having a place. For dating women, to date, you have to date. You have to spend money. And, you know, I'm not saying spend money on me. I'm just saying, you know, we want to go out to restaurants. Women want to be courted properly. And that's a part of dating and getting to know someone, is taking them, you know, on dates, maybe to the movies. And I'm not saying we have to go every day. You could court a woman once every other week. You know what I'm saying? But just the fact that he doesn't have his life together, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a car, he doesn't have anything, I don't think it's going to work with me. So I'm going to have to tell him that. Because he does keep in contact with me. Like, the contact and the communication is nice. But sometimes I feel overwhelmed because I do work and I do have a lot going on, right? So he'll always call me, and sometimes I notice the conversation is he's not really saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but what do you say? I complain about sometimes my problems and my issues. I'll talk about the homeless shelter and I'm going through this and I'm going through that, but there's nothing that's making me feel like I want him. You know what I'm saying? There's just nothing that's popping in his life that make me say, oh, I want to be bothered with him. Because he was a man that had a job. He had a successful business in HVAC. So he was making really good money. He said he had a house and he left the house to his wife and a divorce settlement and stuff like that. So I'm like, so what in your life went wrong that you lost everything that you had? Like, what happened? So I'm going to be telling y'all a story time about how his life unfolded and what he told me about, his life unfolding and things that went awry in his life. And my life unfolded too. But I'm not sitting up here like I'm better than him and, I got my life going on. I'm still homeless, you know what I'm saying? And he knows that and stuff like that. And some people are like, well, why don't you work it out with him and try to get a place with him? Well, I really, like I said, I told y'all before, I wasn't really attracted to him in that way. I wasn't attracted to him to have a relationship with him, and it just wasn't popping. But the most thing that wasn't attractive to me was the fact that he didn't have anything for himself. Like, I understand you being homeless because I'm homeless too. So who am I to hold homelessness against a man? And I'm homeless myself. So, that kind of like, you not having a job and having, like, he spends all his time communicating with me, like texting me, because where he lives at, there's like a cell phone there, so he's able to text me and everything. But I'm not attracted to a man that doesn't have his stuff together, I don't like that. Like, I could be with him if he had his stuff together. And if he had his stuff together, would he choose me? Would he choose to even be bothered with me? I don't know. Because, when people are down and out and they're in homelessness, you can say any damn thing. A man can say anything to you in your ear. And I wouldn't be at a loss because I wasn't really so attracted to him anyway. But the fact that he's like saying that he wants to be in a relationship with me and everything, I was like, a relationship? Brother, you don't even have your life together. Like, what kind of relationship are you freaking talking about? So I'm keeping my eye on him. We still do talk. He really just texted me not too long ago, and I didn't have a problem with communicating and talking to him. I'm not a bougie type of woman, but I know that, women, we want to go on dates and stuff. You can't date a woman if you don't have any money to date her properly. I'm just saying. I'm not a bougie woman. You don't have to take me to some 5-star restaurant or anything, but we want to go to the movies. We want to go out in the town. We want to go out dancing. We just want to do stuff that women like to do. And, if you want to court me properly, that's something that we expect. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. I may seem like, hey, you're doing too much, or you're bougie or whatever, or you're homeless too. So I know a lot of trolls are going to come in here and say I'm homeless too, and I am homeless too. But if you're a man and you step into a woman, when you step into a woman, you got to come correct. You don't have to be rich, but you got to come correct. I'm just saying. I know that sounds to be like, oh, that's not right, but you're homeless too. I am homeless too. But when you're trying to date somebody, at least have transportation and at least have like a job, right? So he kind of messed up his life as if I messed up mine. Like, I messed up my life too. But I'm not in a man's face trying to say, I'm not out here looking for a man, because some people say, oh, you should find a man, maybe he'll let you live with him. Like, no, because I'm going to be his sugar mom. I'm going to live with him, and he's going to expect, what? Oh, you live here, so you need to be giving it up. So I'm like, no, I don't want that either. But I want for a man to have his stuff together. And for him not having his stuff together and you trying to say that you want to date me, that's the red flag. That's the red flag in my eyes. It might sound bougie to y'all, like, oh, he's a nice guy and all that stuff. But what kind of guy is he really if he had a HVAC business that he messed up and lost? So in the next video, I'm going to explain to y'all what happened in his life for him to lose his business. And I want you guys to follow along. It's a story time. And men still flirt with me and, stuff like that. Just because I'm a homeless woman, they still come at me, honey. They really do. Men still come at me every day. And, some are just more sexual. Some men are sexual. And I could tell y'all another story time about another guy that I was attracted to, but he ended up being like a pervert. So I'm going to tell y'all about that too. If you guys want to know story time about my dating life, being a homeless single woman, you guys stay tuned. I'm getting ready for work right now, but Men still come at me, even me being homeless. And I don't tell men. I only told this dude that I'm homeless because he was in a homeless shelter too. So I didn't, I don't go around telling men. I don't, first of all, y'all gonna know about what kind of woman I am because I'm gonna tell y'all probably in the next video. But homeless people, we date people, we date too. We have a date in life too. You know, even though we're homeless, like men still hit on us, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't technically walk around looking like your average homeless person. So you would think that I'm a woman that got maybe my condo over there in that town. You would think that I probably have something if you saw me at work. Like she probably, you know, goes home and has a decent house or whatever. But there's a lot of homeless people out here. But we also still have like a dating life. People still flirt with us. Men still try to holler. Like just because I'm homeless don't mean that that doesn't happen. So, but we're going to talk about this dating experience with this guy. I'm going to call him Mr. M. His name is Mr. M. Stay tuned for part 2.